Hello, everybody. I am here with McKenna Dodge. I first met McKenna on a webinar talking about the M Guard, and we decided to reach out. Turns out she's been in Enagic for the past 4 to 5 years, and we've become really good friends since. So today, I just want to talk about your journey with Enagic and how you're really stepping into a space of leadership. McKenna, do you want to just give yourself a little bit more of an intro and a background so people can understand like what it is you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Simon. It's so great to be here. And to everybody listening, thanks for tuning in. My name is McKenna, and I am very multifaceted, multi-passionate entrepreneur. I kind of have really two halves to my brand. The first half of which is where I really focus on water education, high-ticket affiliate marketing, all of the elements of our Kangen business and getting to support and serve people on that front. And that is my Thirsty for Abundance brand. And on the other half of that, where Enagic allows for the vehicle of high profit, high wealth, and health side of things. I also very much believe in alignment, and that, money is not the only answer to all of life's problems. Yes, it's a tool, but there's so much more to abundance than just the financial aspect of it. And so because I believe so very much in alignment and really doing work, whether that's in a corporate job or in a side hustle or going all in on entrepreneurship, to really bring in that element of, are you genuinely passionate about what you do? Do you get to show up as your most authentic self and serve people in the most fulfilling ways possible that also creates income, that also creates health, all of which really supporting my movement, which centers around the concept of live every day of your life, not for the weekend's vacation or retirement, abundantly, intentionally, and well. And so I combine these elements of brand identity and alignment with high ticket affiliate marketing, with the holistic health to support whatever your chosen lifestyle is, whatever your chosen business is, and really tying together all of these different elements of what truly makes abundant and intentional living in your life.
Amazing. And I personally wish that more and more people would really look into this business opportunity because so many people kind of grow up with this school, work, retire, die blueprint. I'm sure you did as well. I certainly did. And we just don't understand what's out there until we first get exposed to it. And I'm sure you've talked to a lot of people, wanting to see just, what are their thoughts about this business. And I'm sure you've encountered a lot of resistance. A lot of people say that something like this is too good to be true. What would you say to those people that say, this just sounds like it's something that's, maybe, yeah, like I can't do it, or this just sounds like it's, too out there. How do you address people that think that it's not real because there's just so much abundance within this opportunity?
Well, first and foremost, I was one of those people. So when I first heard about Enagic, I was like, fucking water machines? Like, what the heck? Like, the most unsexiest business you could ever do. And really, what brought me into this was seeing the compensation plan. So I came from the low ticket network marketing space, and I wasn't looking for another opportunity. I was really just looking for, at the time when I was introduced into high ticket affiliate marketing, was just I was looking for training on how to grow my existing network marketing business without, cold messaging everyone on the internet. I'm an introvert with the social battery of a peanut. So I was like, I'm not out here looking to, talk to the prom queen from high school I was never cool enough to talk to. Like, that was not my idea of a good time and not how I wanted to grow my business. And so I got started with a training platform, actually, a course with some coaching attached that was teaching me attraction marketing. And I was like, oh my gosh, like everyone needs this, and made a referral, and someone purchased the course as well. And that was really where I really got my first experience with high ticket commissions. And, I had done pretty well for myself. I had made it to the top 10% of the company in about 22 days in my network marketing company. Like I was busting my butt. And I was making that 4-figure commission check at the end of the month, but then I got this high ticket referral sale from this training platform at the time. It doesn't even exist anymore. At the time it did. And I got an equivalent 4-figure commission check from one sale versus busting my butt for hundreds of sales in my low ticket MLM. And I was like, hold the phone. Like, the time it took me to make that one sale versus the time that it took me to make hundreds of sales to create the same kind of income. Like for me, it's like I said before, it's not about the money. It's about, do I have the time to actually enjoy living whatever opportunities that money unlocks for me? And so when I saw this like stark contrast, not necessarily because I didn't want to work hard, because I mean, I was going to school full time and or going to school time and a half and working 3/4 time when I decided to like start my side business, because I guess I'm a workaholic. So seeing that contrast, it was like, holy wowzas, like how much I can impact, that I can create, income that I can create without having to sacrifice every last waking moment of every day around going to school for my bachelor's degree and working. And so then when I was introduced into Enagic, like I was already sold, for lack of a better term, on the concept of high ticket. But I looked at this and I was like, that seems sketchy. Like, there's no way that I could earn that much, that people would pay that much. This was all of my limiting beliefs talking at the time. Like, there's no way that somebody would make that investment. There's no way that the company could sustainably pay out that much to its distributors. And I was like, who buys water machines? Like I grew up drinking out of a hose. I was a farm girl, so like I'm filling horse troughs and I'm like, bleh. Like if it was clear and didn't smell like a swimming pool, I would probably drink it. So it was like I understood the concept of high ticket, which was really what even allowed me to consider looking at this opportunity, is because I was like, okay, the income, but my second highest value is integrity, followed, my first is live every day of your life, not for the weekend's vacation. Or I was a company that did not meet my very high standards for something that I would affiliate with. I needed to believe in it. It needed to be science backed. It needed to be certified. The company had to lead with values and impact, and not just like come in and buy the business to sell the business to make a lot of money, and like, PS, there's a filter in that box or something. And I'm over here like, it's not a filter, it's an ionizer. They're different. Didn't know that at the time, but what really made the difference for me was actually asking questions. And because we can go on Google all day long and be like, is this a scam? Is it like, and you're going to get everybody's half-baked opinions on the internet. Like everybody has something to complain about, right? You can look up your favoriteest thing in the world and there's going to be somebody who has something bad to say about it. And so for me, it was asking the questions and really figure out, is this in alignment with me? Is this in integrity, in alignment with my values? And do I actually believe in this? And like I said, what opened the door was the high ticket affiliate marketing. But what allowed me to step through the door was actually doing the searching. Is this in alignment? Is it integrity? Do I believe in this? Do I value this? Once I got educated, like, do I understand and do I see that the impact that this can create is so much greater than just the income that I could earn with it? Because it's not as important to me that it creates value for me in terms of finances if it does not create equal or more value for the person that I'm referring this to, either on the business side or just straight on the water side. Is this going to be a transformative experience for my clients and for the people that I refer this to? And so in looking through all of those different elements and really learning about the product, the company, the compensation plan, all of these different elements, that's where I was like, this is actually something that I could not just can, but do, and am excited to stand behind, to learn more about, and to continue sharing with people and changing lives through this modality of abundant wealth and wellness.
What would you say were your biggest fears about getting started, and how did you overcome them?
Hmm. So at the time when I got started in Enagic, I was still working full time. My past career was in tech support. I retired at 25. So coming up on 4 years ago, actually, September will be 4 years. Um, so even though my husband and I were both earning income with that, I hadn't it's not like I had, replaced my income, replaced my tech support income or anything. When I started with Enagic, there was very much that feeling, specifically because I had a lot of self-doubt, because I had a lot of limiting beliefs around my ability to succeed in this, considering, I worked in tech support. Like my job was to like, hi, hello, have you turned it off and on again? And I had never sold other than my low ticket MLM that I was still working on. Like I prior to that, zero sales experience. Like I said, I'm not a people person. I am an introvert with the social battery of a peanut. So I was like, am I the kind of person who can be successful at something like this? And so there was a lot of nervousness around making the investment in getting started, because there was all this like, am I going to get the ROI? Am I capable of being the kind of person who can earn back the investment that I made? And so initially it was very much from the like business side of things. And then as I did more and more research and as I did more and more understanding of really what we were looking at, it got to this like kind of realization that even if I never made a sale in this, the impact that it would have on mine and my husband's health, in the money that we would get to save on, we didn't buy like bottled water or anything like that. We drank out of the tap. But in our health, in not having to buy cleaning products, sanitizing products, like bleach gives me headaches like crazy. So it was like just the ability to remove all of those toxic products and to improve our own health. I had this realization like that transformation by itself was so valuable and worth it, even if I never made a sale. And so that was ultimately what allowed me to be like, okay, let's take the step, right? Still with some nerves. And as I continued working on things and pouring into myself, overcoming my limiting beliefs, investing in myself, I'm like, skills can be taught. We can learn how to make sales. We can learn how to create social media content. We can learn all of these different things. It's, are you willing to put in the effort to be coachable, to invest in yourself, and to stretch outside your comfort zone? And I was willing to do all three. So in doing that, it was like, okay, I know that I can learn the skills I need to be successful in this business. And I've got the value back of my investment just on the health side alone, even if I never pursued the business. And so it was like, okay, that gives me enough to move forward with. And I'm so glad that I did, obviously.
Yeah, I've been seeing you on your social media. You're absolutely killing it. Like, I feel like I'm getting so much value from every post that you share. Everybody, in my opinion, needs to go and follow you right now.
Thank you. It didn't start that way though. Like my social media, gosh, what, 6, 7 years ago, before I started in the low ticket health and wellness company, before like I started in any online marketing, it was pictures of my dogs and dog memes and the occasional IT meme. Like that was the entirety of my social media. So I didn't start, not only did I not start with an understanding of sales or marketing, I didn't start with a following. I didn't start with an audience. I didn't start with like, this massive friends network in person or online. I was just like little old me just doing my thing, dog mom and shelter volunteer and like, hey, like, and with time and practice that grew with, I deal with a lot of overthinking and used to struggle really hard with my perfectionism and feeling like I couldn't show up until I knew everything about everything, which actually slowed down my progress in my business as it turned out. Hindsight's 2020, because I believed that I needed to know everything, do everything, be everything before I could show up and take that first step. Like I was the kind of person who, before I went to my first beginner dance lesson, which is set up for people who've never danced before, like ballroom dancing, I watched a YouTube video on how to dance to basically like pregame my first dance lesson because I was like, I can't go in not knowing nothing. Like, that's not going to work. And I approached my business the same way, and it held me back so much.
Mhm.
In learning how to work with that, in being willing to step outside my comfort zone, in being willing to invest in myself and learn the skills and do those kinds of things and to practice. It's a very iterative process. You're not going to be perfect on day one. And if
Mhm.
you are, you actually weren't because there was something you did in the past that prepared you to be successful in that way on day
Mhm.
one of this new endeavor. That's my personal belief. So, in putting in the reps, in doing the practice, in the trial and error came, the McKenna that you see today, who's willing to show up on camera, who's willing to create content, who's willing to lean into her gifts. And part of that process was being willing to put myself out there with my passion before it was perfect, before I knew everything, and finding ways to support myself in that with going live and writing content and doing collaborations like this. Like I used to like sweat through my shirt just to turn on the camera for 5 minutes. And it would be like a 45-minute, like talking myself up, like, you can do this, you can do this. And I'm like, go hit the go live. And I'm like, oh, I can't do it. Like, and then got to like start the whole thing over again. I don't have to do that anymore, but it didn't
Mhm.
start that way. And so the beautiful part of the journey is that you get to start from wherever you are, and that gets to be and is good enough. If you are willing to pour into yourself, if you are willing to invest in yourself, you're willing to stretch outside your comfort zone, and you're
Mhm.
willing to accept feedback, right? There's always an element of take what serves you, leave what doesn't, right? Everybody and their dog has a strategy on the internet that is like the key to success. I don't believe that anyone has the key to success except you. You have your own key to success, but are you willing to help? Are you willing to allow other people to help you uncover that? And if so, you can get to that place where you feel confident showing up, where you feel like I can go live, I can do a collaboration, I can talk about my business, I can take a step into a new endeavor or adventure or business opportunity and know that I can be successful. And it may take time. It's probably going to take some growing and leveling up on your part, but that you can, you will, and you do.
It really goes to show, that this is a business opportunity that's for the people. You don't
Mhm.
need a big following. You don't need to have, uber advanced social skills. You don't need to have like all of these other things that a lot of other opportunities require you to start off with. It's so common. I see it all the time. People start off like not even wanting to turn on their camera. They're so shy they don't even want to like engage in that way or post on social media or do any of the things that traditional businesses would need to see in order to be successful. But so many people grow into that, and so many people become, through this business, with all the personal development that they're doing, to become the person that they are, the successful business owner, after working at this for a couple months, couple years, however long it may be. But given all of that, why do you think that so many people still have a hard time seeing success? We see so many people do really well, but we still see a lot of people that are holding themselves back from that same amount of abundance, to use your brand. What do you think the main reasons for that could be?
I think there's a couple of them.
Mhm.
I think the first, speaking from experience, the overthinking and the perfectionism, the belief that I have to be a certain way or embody a certain persona or have a certain level of experience or expertise. There are so many people who feel like, well, no one is going to join me or buy from me because I don't have, this massive audience or client base because I haven't ranked up to, 6A2-3 yet. But without like really taking it in that even those 6A2-3s had to start with their very first sale. Nobody comes into this already at the top ranks. And I think so many people worry that they are unqualified because they don't have these, tangible metrics, ranks, sales volume, client base. They haven't been in the industry for, longer than dirt has existed on this planet, all of these
Mhm.
kinds of things. And so they hold themselves back because they feel like they have to be or do or have a certain result or persona before they can show up. And the actual truth of this, and this is what a lot of actually what I cover on the branding side of things, is that what makes your brand so powerful isn't the metrics. It isn't the rank. It isn't the results. It isn't the client success stories, because everyone starts at zero at some point in their life. What makes you or allows you to be successful is showing up with that which you are most passionate about. So you don't have to be able to explain the science of molecular hydrogen and platinum dipped titanium plates. That doesn't matter, because it is so much more powerful for, like, if I have two newbies coming in, for example, and one of them feels like I have to know everything about everything before I can show up and get started. That person's never going to launch. They're never going to get off the ground until they can give up that belief that they have to know everything before they get started, because you never will know everything. I still learn new things every day. And that's the beautiful part about this journey, is that you can show up in that most authentic space in your journey. And as you learn better, as you grow in that, as you learn more, you can do better. You can show up and you have this new knowledge, but it's not required at the start. Whereas person number two, right, our new person over here, the person who shows up on their social media, sweating through their shirt and everything, and goes, I am so excited about this new thing I found. Like, before their product even arrives, before they even try the water, right? They show up and they're like, I started this new opportunity. I'm so excited about it. Here's what I'm excited about for the compensation plan, the opportunity. Here's what I'm excited about with the water. And they're like, I honestly couldn't explain it to you. If you're interested in more info, I'd love to help you. And also, let me introduce you to my friend McKenna, who can explain the science, and we'll both learn together. That person is going so much farther, so much faster, because it's the energy that's contagious. It's the passion, right? And it's like, not even that you know more, but that you're more convicted in why you believe in what you found.
Mhm.
So, like, to give
Mhm.
a visual example, if I were to be like, yeah, so I sell this ionizer, and it has 8 platinum dipped titanium plates. They're 99% pure. It's really cool. You should probably buy it. It could maybe change your health. Like, that's a whole different energy than me showing up like, oh my gosh, I just bought this new water ionizer. I'm so freaking excited about it. I didn't think that I would be excited about an ionizer, let's be honest. But I saw all of these testimonials and transformations of people changing their health, and I'm so excited to see what it's going to do for me. My machine hasn't even arrived yet, but I know that this is going to be so life-changing, and I cannot wait to share it with you. I'm going to be doing an unboxing video the day that my machine arrives in like 4 days, because I just ordered it like 5 minutes ago. Let me know if you want more information. Which one are you going to reach out to? Number one or number two?
Mhm.
Two, right? The second person who, even though they did not explain jack diddly squat about the science of the machine, it didn't matter, because they were excited about it and they were sharing their passion, and they were so convicted in that, this is what I believe, this is what I'm passionate about, and this is why I believe it's going to change your life.
Mhm.
Rather than this, like, yeah, it's really cool and you should buy it, and like, it just like, visually and like in the body language and their tone, like, there's so many differences. And it's not because person number two knew anything about the science of the machine, or had to have been drinking the water, or had this massive health transformation, or was 6A2-3 in the company. It doesn't matter. It's the energy, the excitement, the passion. It's why they were so excited about this investment, and why they're so excited for how this is going to change their life, on the health side, on the wealth side, usually a combination thereof, because we're equal parts excited about the product and the business opportunity. And so really what sets people up for success is to let their passion lead, even if their voice quivers a little bit. because we're like, oh, I don't have the confidence, and like, I don't know all of the things. It doesn't matter. Show up with what you're passionate about. That's what your upstream's for. That's what your mentor's for. That's what your team is for, to help support you to answer the questions you don't know how to answer. But that gets to be your superpower, where you don't feel like you have to know all of these things. Because if someone is like, yeah, actually, I'd like more info, and then you're like, what do I tell them? You're like,
Mhm.
amazing. Let me introduce you to my friend McKenna, or let me introduce you to my friend Simon, and they can help answer all of your questions and we'll learn together. That
Mhm.
person is going so much farther, so much faster than the person who, me at the beginning of my journey, had to know and be and do all of the things that you can't do, because a lot of the things that you know and learn and do come from the process of showing up without knowing and doing, because you're learning along the way. And that's where you're like, oh, I learned this thing. Now that makes sense. I can implement that here. I can integrate or interrelate that with these things that I've already learned. It happens along the journey, but you have to give yourself permission to take the first step, to start walking before you sign up for the marathon.
Amen to that. Absolutely. And I want to kind of segue into, you're showing up in your stories and your posts every day. It's very clear anybody that follows you sees you are a leader within this community. You are somebody that knows how to lead a team. But for somebody that's just getting started, maybe they don't have that leader mentality. Maybe they don't know how to lead other people yet. At what point in your journey did you go from like the shy, quivering McKenna into the McKenna that, has the potential to be the forefront of an entire community and be somebody that steps into that business leadership? And do you think that that's something that people that are just getting started into the business should try and embody?
So, as shy as I am, and as much of an introvert as I am, I've always been a natural leader. I have always been the kind of person who absorbs other people's stories, who listens really intently, and is like, this is what I heard you say. Or if I see, like a group, I think of like school projects, for example, like think middle school and high school, like group projects, or even in college for that matter. If people were just kind of like sitting there like, oh, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, like I was the person who was like, okay, let's do this. Like, let me take charge of this situation type of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
even though I was nervous, even though I was like, I don't feel qualified to do this, it's like, I don't believe in waiting for your life to be handed to you on a silver platter. Yes, manifestation is really powerful, but it's only going to work if you get off of your ass and do something about it. Work towards the life that you desire. Take action on the things that you want to do. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I called myself an accidental leader, where I always ended up in leadership no matter where I was, whether it was group projects in school, whether it was at my day job when I was working in tech support. Like I always ended up in leadership, and then was kind of like, well, this wasn't really what I was going for. I was just trying to help people move along.
Mm-hmm.
And it came from not from a certain skill set, not because I was so well educated or some such thing. Like I didn't have courses and studies in this. It was because I was willing and desiring to serve people and to help them move forward. And one of the things that we teach in my community, so my direct team is Abundance Unleashed, and the community and the platform that we're a part of is called Leaders on the Rise. It's actually like sandblasted on my bottle here with the Leaders on the Rise logo.
Love
This is
that.
water, by the way, for anyone who is like, she's bottle that looks an awful lot. It's freaking amazing. Anyway, one of the things that I very firmly believe is that leadership isn't about a result or a rank that you have. It's about your genuine desire to help people, to lead from the front, to do the things that you think other people should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
and to set the example, to show up, right? Giving ourselves grace, right? Like none of us are perfect. Thank you, perfectionism. Like learned that one along the journey. None of us are perfect. But if you're willing to move towards and to take action on the things that you believe in, the values that you hold, and a genuine desire to help people, that's what leadership is. It's not about a rank, it's not about a certain results. Like I've got people in my downstream, for example, who are better leaders as brand new team members, as 2As, 3As, the first couple of ranks within our business, than people that I know who are 6A and beyond, who are technically on paper a leader, but their leadership skills suck because they are only showing up for themselves. They come in on their high horse and they're like, this is what you should do. And it's like, bitch, where you been? Like, you're not leading your team. You're not showing up. You're not asking the questions and being willing to put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I value so much, and that not only I embody, but the values that I teach to my team members, is that leadership isn't about a result. You don't become a leader because you made X number of sales. You become a leader because you're willing to show up for yourself and for others, regardless of how far up the metaphorical chain or ladder that you are. It's your willingness to show up and serve people to the best of your ability wherever you are at in that journey, knowing that it will grow over time, having grace for yourself in the mistakes that you are inevitably going to make, because we all do, but still being willing to show up and to serve others and to lead by example. That is leadership.
Couldn't have said it better myself, and a lot of people, like myself included, when we first got involved, we were like, I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't feel comfortable, turning my camera on or doing anything other than just kind of like participating in the team calls, being like, I guess I'll just passively wait my way to success. It's like, no, as soon as you get the opportunity, be somebody that asks themselves, how can I provide more value to my community? How can I provide more value to, my current or maybe even future team members? That's what it's all about. And it doesn't matter that, you just started or you're 5 years in and haven't made any sales. It's like, once you make that switch, you're naturally going to attract the people that are right for your business. And you just got to detach from the results.
And on that note, you had mentioned about, with leadership and, showing up for your future team. How are you showing up for the sidelines that you have right now? How are you showing up for people that you do not directly get paid for helping them? How are you showing up and helping people, whether they're in your downstream or not? Are you supportive of others within your community? So I think of brand new Enagic distributors who come into a community and they're like, well, I'm a team of one at this particular moment. I do not have any downstreams. That doesn't make you any less of a leader. Are you showing up within the community platform, program, or collective that you are a part of and pouring into others? Are you offering insights? Are you helping to answer questions? Are you willing to learn more? Are you willing to be corrected when you say something and you're like, someone else is like, actually, that's not quite how this works? And are you willing to accept that feedback and take that feedback with gratitude and grace for yourself, gratitude for the person who was like, actually, let me help you understand this. And you're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I didn't know. And I'm so excited to be able to share this correctly in the future. How are you showing up for the people that you can already lead? That's the thing, is I think that people believe that they can't become leaders until they have someone to lead. Lead the people around you. Show up for the people around you. I think of so many people, for example, parents. I've got the fuzzy four-legged kind. We're not doing two-leggers, but for those with babies, right? Human children.
Yeah.
You're already leading your mini-me. You're leading your family. For those who are perhaps in sports or extracurriculars from school, you're already able to lead your team just because they're not directly below you, just because you're not a manager or a supervisor. Like, a brand new employee can be a better leader on day one than some manager who's been there for 5 years, because you're willing to show up and work collaboratively and support others, even if they're not your direct reports.
Couldn't agree more. Once you step into that energy of leadership, people are going to gravitate towards you, including new team members that want to work with you directly. So, like I said, whether you're just beginning or whether you're a couple of years into your journey, embody that mentality, and it's only going to serve you in this business. So, McKenna, just wanted to give you one more question. What would you what is a word of advice you would tell to your previous self? You know, you did mention the perfectionism thing, but is there
Mhm.
anything else you would maybe do over that other people listening can avoid making the same mistakes?
I think for me, because despite the introversion and the perfectionism, I always was a natural leader. I think the biggest mistake that I learned and or excuse me, the biggest mistake I made and the biggest lesson that I've learned, especially in the last year, is you cannot be everything to everyone at all times. And that's okay. You get to be human. You are human, right? Or you are, right? The beautiful, amazing stardust being having a human experience that you are. Nonetheless, that there's going to be people who say no. There's going to be people who say not now. There are going to be people who are going to, throw things in your face or be like, you worked in tech support. What are you doing sales, right? Like, who do you think you are, quitting your secure corporate cushy day job to go
Mhm.
pursue entrepreneurship and like walk dogs at the dog shelter? Like, there's always going to be judgment. There's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be internet trolls. Like in my team, we celebrate when people get their first trolls. We're like, oh my gosh, you have made it. You have haters. Like, congratulations, you did the thing. Um, and so I think both on, kind of the more stereotypically associated negative side, right? Those kinds of things. And also on the positive side, I think those of us who are natural leaders have a tendency to try to ensure that everyone eats before you do, to
Mhm.
always make sure that everyone is taken care of at the expense of yourself. But you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot continue drilling holes in the bottom of your bucket and then wondering why your bucket is empty. And so I think on, the positive side of like serve everyone. Yes, and make sure that you're serving yourself first. Make sure that you're showing up for yourself first. Make sure that you're setting those boundaries around your time, around your energy, so that you can both serve your people at the highest level and also that you have the resiliency to let the naysayers and the nags and the trolls roll off you. And you're like, that's all good. They're not meant for me. That's okay. Maybe they'll come back around later. Maybe it's a delete and block a type of thing because, like, you're not the kind of person I would want to work with anyway. Either way, I think my biggest lesson has been that leadership does not mean self sacrifice at all costs.
McKenna, this has been such a powerful interview. You have so much wisdom and so much good advice to offer, you know, and I'm sure anybody that's listening will concur with that as well. And I see the leader within you. You know, you're showing up every day, you're showing up on your stories, you're talking about the water, you're talking about your journey, you're talking about all of these really just interesting facets about the business and your personal life that people really should aspire to. And you know, I certainly look at that and think, you know, clearly I need to step up my game a little bit to to be where McKenna is at. But thank you so much for showing up today. It's such a pleasure every time we get to speak, you know, with each other. And I would love to do another collaboration at some point in the near future.
Heck yes, let's make it happen. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.